So before moving on, I added this H3 here with the ID of char count. And you see here, current characters is 0. Let's look at the finished product. We want it to go up as we type, right? So right now, it's not going up. How can we do that? Well, first of all, we have to select our text area input. So text area, and then we're going to do on input. Okay. On input counts for every keystroke that you do inside of that. Okay, so on input, we're going to select this right here, the char count H3. So on input, let's see, const counter is equal to document dot, let's do get element by ID. So then I can just paste this in, char count. And then you can do counter dot text content is now equal to characters. And then right here, to get the total length, you can actually just do, I think you can do text dot length. Let me see that. Oh, not text dot length, I mean text area dot value, and we have to trim it because I don't want any extra spaces, dot length. Yeah. So on every input, it's reading the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay, so now that we have that working, we can finally move on to our start button. Okay, so start button dot on click is equal to a function. Oh, and we don't even need the E for the other one, but this one we might. Okay, so let's think about this. What happens when they click the start button? Right? Well, first of all, this text area should disappear. Text area dot remove. Let's try that. Okay, so we have that. And then our text, which was a let right here, will be reassigned. Right? And this will be equal to text area dot value dot trim. Oops. Or if they don't put anything, I'll just say default test. Okay. All right, so now how do we render this text that we just got? Well, we can do that by calling a function that I'm going to define to render text. What the heck? Render. Oh my God, I hate this IntelliSense. I'll just call it rend. And then I'm going to pass in this text. Yeah. And then outside here, we're going to do function rend, passing in a txt file. Okay, so what's the easiest way that we can render? So if you look in our HTML, all of our characters will be put inside of this H3 here, test container. But we cannot just put the string values themselves. We have to put each character inside of a span, right? Why is that? Because this is a typing test. If they type this character right, we want this span background to turn green, and if not, it's going to turn red, right? So every single characters that you create in this typing test has to be nested inside of a span. And I chose span because it's an inline element. Okay? So you don't have to mess more with the CSS to get it all correct. Okay, let's see how we can render this. Okay, so far, this is all I got. I'm selecting this test container right here. Okay, and then now I'm going to get this argument txt, and I'm going to say txt dot split, right? Because we're going to split it into an array, so we can use for each like this. Yeah. So inside of for each, we have get access to each letter. And then once again, every loop, we're going to create something const, and I'll call this span document.create element, creating a span. Here, what's the span.text content? Well, that's just the letter. Span.text content is just equal to letter. Okay? And then we got to do container text dot append. We don't have to use append child because it's only text, and we can append, what's the variable? Oh, letter, like this. Okay, and then if I try it right now, 15 characters, and I click start, you see that we get all 15 characters, and this would still exist. All right, one other thing I need to do is that on On the start button, we can use the this keyword. Since we used a regular function definition, we actually don't need the E. So this does disable, I'll say true, because I don't want them to click twice, right? And then let's do this dot text content is equal to type now. Okay, let's see what we have so far. A bunch of characters. I click start, this thing gets disabled, it counts all the characters, and it gets rendered properly. Okay, now on to our next issue. After this, how do we check to see if they typed the wrong character, the right character, and how do we handle the highlighting for each of these characters? Okay, that's going to be the hardest part. And I think the easiest way we can handle that is to use on key press.